Like many of you, when I was growing up, you whispered the word cancer, not daring to say the C word out loud. A young Goshen mother who recently overcame cancer is taking her fight one step further. She didn't want to live the next 40 or 50 years of life in fear, so she decided to have both breasts removed. She allowed me and photojournalist Don Schoenfeld to document her surgery, which involved a double mastectomy and breast reconstructive surgery in the same operation. Tonight, we begin a three-part series, Inside Reconstructive Surgery, and we will warn you some of the video is graphic, so we'll limit what we show you on the air. However, Kari, the young woman you're about to meet, and her doctors feel that it's important that other women making crucial, life-changing decisions about their bodies are finally able to see what the surgery entails. And for that reason, after our series concludes on Thursday, we will put the full surgery up on our website so that other women can make informed decisions. Tonight, in a special medical moment, here is Kari's Crusade.
There is no family history. I have a grandmother who had breast cancer when she was 76, and here's a picture of her when she was younger.
Because of her grandmother's age and the fact that she was just 35, Kari Hazelbaker wasn't concerned when a lump was found in her breast.
When I saw the nurse practitioner, she found a cyst, and she didn't think it was anything, but to be very cautious, she decided to send me for a mammogram, so it wasn't anything that I worried about.
With a 5-year-old daughter, Madeline, and 13-year-old son, Nick, Kari and her husband, Matt, weren't ready for the results of a biopsy.
When they received the results from my first surgery, they found more cancer, which put me at a stage 1. So with stage 1 cancer, I was then going to have to do chemo and radiation treatment. It was very devastating.
Kari went through chemo, then had a lumpectomy and radiation.
When you don't feel well, it's a lonely place to be. So
made a bit easier because her mother-in-law was also battling cancer at the time, and the two were able to schedule their chemo treatments together. And when Kari lost her hair, Matt shaved his head in support.
It's the most peaceful, wonderful evening.
And during that time, when Kari was feeling pretty poorly, she got a special surprise from country singer Tim McGraw when she and Matt went to one of his concerts.
He got done with one of his songs and then came over and grabbed my bald head and walked up on stage and turned around and blew me a kiss and started singing Live Like You Are Dying.
Kari has the concert's drumsticks framed along with the tickets and decided while she planned on living, like the song, she would always live like she was dying. And that's part of the reason she made the dramatic decision, in spite of now being cancer-free, to have her breasts removed and reconstructed. Kari decided worrying for the next 40 or 50 years that the fear of her cancer would return would not be living. She says she's excited for the surgery that will also spare her nipples, but she's mostly looking for peace of mind.
I had a mammogram, an MRI, and a PET scan that did not detect the invasive cancer, the stage 1 cancer. So after I've gotten through all my treatment, I've had time to think. We've discussed a double mastectomy, and I felt for me that was the best route to go.
And her surgeon, Dr. Michael Rotkus, who had performed 20 combined mastectomies and reconstructive surgeries alongside plastic surgeon Dr. Ronald Downs, agreed with Kari's decision.
She's so young, and so we would continue surveillance throughout the next 50 years of her life. And she decided that, you know, for safety and anxiety and sleepless nights, she wanted to consider doing a mastectomy to reduce her risk of ever having a recurrence.
And by combining 2 surgeries at once, they can also preserve Kari's nipples.
Historically, we felt that we have to remove all the breast tissue, including the nipple and areola, but the feeling on that has changed, and we now feel that it's safe. We have enough experience with it to say that it's safe to preserve the nipple and areola and produce a better cosmetic outcome.
And he believes women who beat a deadly disease shouldn't have to be maimed with scars that will remind them for a lifetime.
They feel good about the way they look. They're not at all embarrassed when they get out of the shower and walk in front of the mirror.
Which Dr. Rotkus says means more to women than most could imagine.
How was your day at school?
So today, Kari is picking her kids up from school, something she hopes her surgery will guarantee for years to come. Her next stop is surgery, which she admits is a bit scary but important.
Just to reach other women. You know, if this is something that can help other women out there that are going through the same thing that I'm going through, that's important to me. I mean, God gave me this body, and I'm here to show people not to be afraid.
To live like you were dying, like tomorrow was a gift.
The words "you have breast cancer" are words all women fear, and for more than 200,000 women in the U.S., they will hear those words this year, and nearly a quarter of them will die. That's why a Goshen woman you first met yesterday, who's just 36 years old, decided to recently undergo what some view as radical surgery. Kari Hazelbaker decided to have a double mastectomy and implant surgery at the same time, and because she didn't initially know she had that option, she invited us to go into surgery with her and share her story with other women facing this disease. Tonight, in a special medical moment just before 6, we continue Kari's crusade. And while we have replaced some of the surgery with animation, this is still surgery, so there may be some shots you find disturbing.
I think it plays on every woman's mind that has had breast cancer. The worry of it returning.
And that's why 36-year-old Kari Hazelbaker, a wife and mother of 2, who is now cancer-free after having chemotherapy, a lumpectomy, and radiation 1 year ago,
Last one, promise. Imipramine.
is now in the hospital preparing for a double mastectomy and implant surgery, all within 3 hours.
When I had my mammogram done and my MRI, it did not show the invasive cancer portion in my body. So this is going to give me a peace of mind.
And because of her age and the location of her cancer, Kari is a good candidate for what doctors call a nipple-sparing mastectomy. For many women, mastectomy means a large cut across the breast horizontally to remove the cancer and nipple. Often expanders are put in, and a second surgery is needed in a couple of months to put in implants and build a nipple. Kari's double mastectomy and implants will be much different. 2 local doctors, who are the only in the area performing this surgery, will work as a team to remove Kari's breasts and then immediately put in implants. Surgeon Dr. Michael Rotkus has performed roughly 20 similar operations in Michiana over the last 2 years.
We're going to remove the entirety of the breast tissue, but preserve all of the skin, including the nipple.
Dr. Rotkus checks in with Kari and her husband, Matt.
Ready to go.
Our primary goal is reducing your risk of ever having to deal with this again.
Right, sure, right.
Dr. Rotkus is working in tandem with plastic surgeon Dr. Ronald Downs.
Put some nice purple marks on you.
Unlike traditional mastectomy, Dr. Rotkus and Downs will make Kari's incision underneath the fold of her breast. So what marks are you making here now, doctor?
We're marking the inframammary fold. That's the native inframammary fold. This is the connections that we don't want to change. So when we do the reconstruction, it's going to look, it'll be in the same exact location.
Love you, babe.
After a kiss from Dad and a tearful goodbye with husband Matt, Kari's wheeled off to surgery. Dr. Rotkus and Downs discuss where they'll make their initial incision. It will take roughly an hour for Dr. Rotkus to remove Kari's breast tissue, and says in her case preserving the nipple is not a threat the cancer will return.
But that was kind of an anecdotal or a historical fear that's never really been proven.
After nearly an hour, Kari's breast tissue is removed.
Hey, I'm switching sides.
Time for Dr. Downs to work on reconstructing Kari's breast. Another key to the success of the surgery is a piece of equipment called SPY, which gives doctors a look at the vessels.
What this is telling me is that the nipple is going to be fine. That's showing the blood flow through the skin flap. So we have got great blood flow through our skin flap.
After trying a test implant, Dr. Downs decides which is the best fit for Kari.
See, now that's a nicer size to me.
Another advancement in this surgery is this biologic wrap placed over the implant to prevent tightening caused by previous radiation.
It incorporates and becomes part of the tissue, and it provides a covering for the implant. Then we'll really put a nice layer between the implant and her subcutaneous tissue and skin.
It's time to sew Kari up, and then some surgical super glue is put over the incision. Dr. Downs and Rotkus repeat the procedure on Kari's other breast and then wrap her lightly.
But when she wakes up, though, she has breasts, and when we take this off tomorrow, we'll put her right in a bra.
Because of her age and overall health, both doctors are pleased with the results.
Because it is very important for her to wake up feeling whole.
And best of all, she's cancer-free.
And she's cancer-free, and that's job one.
And she's going to live a long time. She's an attractive young woman, and we want her to feel good about the appearance of her breasts after treatment for breast cancer. So I think it's very important to be able to offer this option.
And for Kari, it was important to share her story with other women who may be facing the same diagnosis. Not all breast cancer patients are candidates for this type of surgery. Doctors say generally it's best for women with smaller breasts and in the earlier stages of cancer, but you should certainly talk to your doctors about whether this might be an option. The implants the doctors use, by the way, are silicone and will last a lifetime. Tomorrow, just before 6, we'll visit with Kari and her doctors to see how she's doing 2 weeks after surgery. Any woman will tell you that being diagnosed with breast cancer is devastating. Now 2 local surgeons are doing what they can to make survivors look and feel as normal as possible. They're performing a surgery quite new to Michiana, and it's changing the way women who survive breast cancer feel about their bodies. They're performing a mastectomy and reconstruction in one surgery, and oftentimes can even save the nipple. We went to great lengths to use shots that were not too graphic, but this is surgery, so you will see some blood. Today we show you the outcome of Kari's Crusade. Yesterday we took you into surgery at St. Joseph Regional Medical Center, where 36-year-old Kari Hazelbaker of Goshen underwent a double mastectomy and reconstructive surgery.
And that looks real nice.
Already a breast cancer survivor who last year underwent chemo, a lumpectomy, and radiation, this young mother of 2 didn't want to take any chances. That's why she's in the operating room, where surgeon Michael Rotkus and plastic surgeon Ronald Downs were able to remove Kari's breast tissue, put in implants, and save her nipples in about 3 hours' time. Fast forward 2 weeks, and we meet up with Kari at Dr. Rotkus's office for her checkup.
So everything's going well?
Everything's going great.
Not having much pain anymore?
No, I feel good.
Dr. Rotkus examines Kari's breasts and is pleased with the outcome.
And the scarring underneath you'll never see, and the swelling will go down also, and the implants will drop a bit, so you'll have a more natural contour and slope to the breast.
And if you would have done an incision across here, would I have lost my nipple then?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the way most surgeons feel comfortable doing it.
Dr. Rotkus says national experts agree many women don't need their nipples removed. We had Kari leave her bra on because the only scars you'll ever see are underneath her breasts. And she's being held by her bra, so if
Yes.
she took her bra off, her breast would drop and
Yeah.
you really wouldn't see that.
Right, exactly.
Major surgery, yes, but major peace of mind is what she's looking for as she and her husband raise 2 kids.
I think it was the fear of the cancer coming back. I knew that I never wanted to go through chemotherapy again. The cancer was hard to detect in the first place. I was very fortunate to find it the first time.
And Dr. Rotkus says while this surgery isn't for all women, Kari's cancer was away from her nipple and in the early stages.
This is good for prophylaxis, okay, for maybe somebody who doesn't have breast cancer but who has a genetic mutation that really increases their lifetime risk of breast cancer, and they want to be proactive. It's an excellent approach to somebody who has smaller breasts, because the ability for us to reconstruct them the way they look initially is much easier.
And because Kari no longer has breast tissue, she won't need to have any more mammograms. Kari's come a long way from her diagnosis, which she feared meant dying or living without breasts or with scars. And she's sharing her story so other women facing the same diagnosis know there is another local option.
Go for it. It's a peace of mind, and in the long run, I think you'd be much happier. I was 35 years old when I found out I had breast cancer. I'm now 36. So, God willing, I have a long life to live.
Alongside her husband as they watch their 2 children grow up. And our thanks to Kari for bravely sharing her story and allowing us to follow her journey, and also to Doctors Rotkus and Downs for allowing us in the operating room. All 3 believe women facing a breast cancer diagnosis may benefit from watching the process, and for that reason we have posted the entire surgery and Kari's outcome on our website. Also, this surgery is covered by insurance, and many women may be wondering about whether Kari will have feeling in her new breasts. The doctors say she should have about 70% of her normal feeling when she's completely healed.